Hey guys, welcome back to another one of the analysis videos. This is quite an interesting matchup of really fun and aggressive game, if I may call it so, which was played by PaperX, who have eliminated NA's last hope from the VCT Masters. The guard came into Reykjavik with all hopes on them to be, probably the next champions of the Masters, since they were the ones who beat Optic back in NA in the qualifiers. They expected them to go a long way, but the guard have been beaten in the very first round of the VCT Masters, and Optic now have the hopes of the rest of North America on their shoulders. Whilst that's going to be happening in a later bit, we are going to be talking about how PaperX have completely broken all the shackles that the guard were going to be putting up, and their defensive walls have broken. Let's start off talking about PaperX's attack, which is not that relevant in the entire storyline because their defense is what shined the most. But there were a couple of high-tailed moments that the side of the APAC team did put up in the attack. Starting off with round number 10, and this is the only one on the attacking side that we're going to be talking about. Here's where PaperX solidify a little bit of a base to work upon on their defensive side. They get the score to a respectable scoreline, which works out perfectly for them. But this round is a beautiful execute of not just individual prowess that's shown by Forsaken, but also how cool PaperX are, even though they're being put under pressure. And you're going to see that because the guard have actually changed up their setup. They've got net now posted on B, which is actually happening after quite a while. They didn't really change as often as you would think. And they've got Saya player, Trent, and Valen playing towards A. And they've got the one player who's looking up towards mid with the wall is going to be Jonah, who's going to be as passive as possible. He's just going to be putting the wall down towards mid and running away immediately. While PaperX also change up and they go towards mid. And the only thing they care about here is breaking the wall so that the B split, which is going to be primarily focused on B heaven from mid, is going to be executed. They try to bait out as much utility, which comes out, as you can see, eventually the slow orbs, the smokes, everything come through. And Jonah's already gone towards the side. Now, guard are still contemplating as to whether they should rotate or not. They're still holding down A heaven, as you can see right here. But eventually, when they see that there is nobody really towards A main posing a threat, there's no real, execution coming in there. Here goes the B heaven smoke from Valen. And now, all PRX do is wait. They wait for utility to be baited out. They wait for time to be wasted because they know that the guard are going to get impatient at times. And once you can see that Trent has cleared out A main, you can immediately see the rotation is coming through from the man himself, Valen. And while he makes his rotation come through, there's utility being deployed by Trent to stop this B heaven push, to maybe allow Jonah to get a kill. And eventually, Jonah will find a kill. There's a flash that comes through from Valen just about in a second. There's a smoke that goes through, but this perfectly timed wall that comes up from the Y allows him to give Forsaken a bit of time. Even though Jonah finds 2 kills here, that wall is still being broken by Valen. And Forsaken recovers from his blindedness, gets the kill, and immediately finds 2 very favorable 1v1s, while Benkai takes advantage of Net's positioning right out in the open, which I did not quite understand. Net was standing here. He was trying to be probably covered up from B heaven, but at the same time, he's exposed to B main, where 2 players from the side of PaperX walk in, and now it's just a 3v2, and look at what Forsaken does here. It's just inexplicable. At this point, it's just his pure aim prowess, and the failure of Trent to understand that the one thing that he really has in his hands right now is an opportunity to try and maybe clutch out this round. Why? The man has got an aftershock, he's got 2 flashes, and at the same time, he's 1 orb away from getting his Rolling Thunder as well. And not to mention, his teammate, Saya player, has got all the utility in the world, and he's also an operator, which means if he's left alone, he's either going to be hunted, but Saya player just goes in for the final frags. And he peeks out from B heaven right here without any sort of flashes, assisting himself. He just walks straight out, thinking he's going to get a free kill, but Forsaken's just too quick, man. There's no way he's going to get beat here. Gets the plant pretty comfortably, and there's no way Saya player was going to win this. While he does try his level best to, get into the side, he's aware of every single angle. He's worried about where any player could be, and this beautiful crossfire setup from Paper X is more than enough to try and give them the information that they require. While there is also a trip kept there from Benkai, and Saya player just jumps straight to it, you're gonna see PRX don't flinch even for a second. They don't care. Look, the trip has been broken, but they don't care. They just allow Mind Freak to getting closer, holds a perfect angle, waits for Saya player to come to him, and Paper X secure a very much needed round on their attack. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, what you're about to see now, if you've not watched this live, is quite a hilarious and honestly ridiculous sound from the side of Paper X. They are just madmen in the art of being annoyingly aggressive and taking fights that you generally wouldn't see any player win. But at this level, you gotta expect the unexpected, and that's something that the guard didn't do. Now look at the weaponry and the economy of what the Paper X boys have. They've got one shorty, which is going to be turning into two in just about a second. You can see that Davai is going to be picking up one shorty for himself, and they've got a marshal, and that is practically it, ladies and gentlemen. That's basically it. They've got nothing else left on them. They've got one smoke, they've got a little bit of utility on Jing, and that is practically it. And what do we see on the side of the guard? They've got 5 specters, they've got full armor on everybody, and they've also got utility for days right now, right? And look at how passive and how much respect they're giving Paper X in the start of a round. When they know that they won the pistol, they can go ahead and take a little bit control, but no, they are so afraid, and Paper X absolutely love this. We can see Forsaken is just going to be walking out into the open. He's sitting right here all alone, no support whatsoever. And the closest support he has is Davai with a shorty. Now, this is really, really interesting, because while the guard are trying to play this as, passively as possible, they are slowly going to be thinking, okay, you know what, we really need to make a move. But look at where already we've got Jing. The one menacing man is going to be able to run away with a kill here. And even though he does go down, immediately you can see B is not going to be a hit, because we've got, Mind Freak constantly having a lookout towards this direction. He's just told Forsaken, don't worry about B, go towards A. And that's exactly what he does. As soon as he sees this, he calls it out Jing. The flash goes through, but this is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. Here's what happened at the most unfortunate moment for the side of the guard. Now, they heard the marshal towards mid. While they might not expect it to be towards A, they should expect maybe a second one could be there, right? And even if it is there, it's probably not going to be on heaven, because it's a very tight angle to play the marshal to get, an easy kill. Rather, this is where you should be expecting it. And that is exactly where the smoke from Valen doesn't go. He smokes off heaven, which is actually an easier angle for the Spectre to take a fight, because it's a short range weapon instead of taking a fight head on at that far range. And because the side of guard do not wait for that second smoke from Valen to come in, absolutely punished. We've got a little bit of an aggressive peek from Jonah, who puts up a wall, goes towards heaven for reasons I know not why. When they have Spectres, they can go to the side, they can just take the plant and play for post plant. But Davai gets a free kill in the smoke. He gets away, and here's Forsaken being his best self. The lack of smoke in that region completely shuts down what the guard were doing, and they get punished by Forsaken for it. And one marshal, 2 shorties win a round against a bunch of fully armored Spectres, completely filled up utility guard players. You cannot make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. This is Paper X at their best. Alright, so the penultimate round we're going to be talking about is round number 16, which is the one immediately after the guard have just been done with their eco, which means they have a full buy on everybody. They've got utility, they've got armor, whatnot, and even Paper X are ready thanks to the anti-eco that they won. Now, thanks to what Paper X won, they're going to be bullying the side of the guard here. Now, I want you to pay very close attention to two main people. Those are the duelists of Paper X, who are going to be performing as if they're madmen. Now, while you can see that these two are isolated, they are, not supported by anybody, you're going to see why they don't actually need any support. And thanks to the one thing, which is Benkai right there playing that Cypher, who's constantly shifting up his setup, it's so unpredictable to, for the guard to say what's going to happen. And again, on the attack, the positioning of the guard is as if they're playing on defense. They are so worried about any sort of pushes. They are so scared of taking fights. I wouldn't even say it's scared. I would say that they're just being overly cautious for something that I think is, that they shouldn't be. They need to be taking fights. They need to be taking risks, because this is a team who thrive on map control. Map control gives them clearance, it gives them confidence, and it gets them kills. Now, that is, kind of chain reaction that we follow, and that you're going to see why in just about a second. Look at Jing here. He's going to be pushing up mid while Forsaken is holding the operator towards A main. And in just about a second, this free kill comes in from one person, Jing towards mid, and Forsaken finds the same towards A main. Now, what is wrong with these two kills for the side of the guard? The reason being, if you go back just a couple of seconds, you can see that this kill has come on from Jing at this angle. And the person who is supposed to trade him off, if there is a kill there, Valen, is standing far beyond towards almost his own spawn near market, with no chance for him to go in that quickly to get that kill. Max, he can flash him off, but Jing has a satchel, and at the same time Forsaken goes towards A main, peeks out, and he gets a free kill while Trent is in towards sewers. And there's no trade potential on either side. Both the duelists go scratch free. Jing might be on to half HP, but he's going to get healed up pretty soon. And with that, it is an instant 5v3 with no support whatsoever. I don't know what the guard were thinking, but here's Paper X being their usual self. Up goes Jing. He's called up for support this time, thinking that the wall is going to be broken, which is happening. But what he cares about is getting the kill. And even though if he would have died here, his teammates who were right there towards B heaven would have gotten the trade. And they do not care about A main, because they know that Forsaken's got this under control. While Forsaken does go down expecting that Jonah's pushed up, here's where the troubles begin. Jonah has actually walled off A main against his own team. While he did go for a, I don't know what exactly that wall was. I don't know if it was misplaced or it could have been a little bit on the side. The time they've got is about 40 seconds. The revive comes through. They are 3 versus 4 right now. And this showstopper completely stops them from going towards A. This wall blocks them off, initially, and now the showstopper confirms it. And because Davai is roaming around towards mid, he hears the rotations. Look at the amount of control Paper X have. They get one free kill thanks to Davai, even though he's gone down. There's 25 seconds left on the clock. Jing's already made his rotation. He's coming as quickly as he can. The paranoia stops the players from the guard to come in. Mindfree gets that kill, and Jing comes right about in time to finish off the round. A beautiful round that I would say sealed about half the deal here. And we're going to see which one actually completely finishes off the game for Paper X, which is going to be the next round. So, ladies and gentlemen, the final round, the one that completely, well, I don't know what you want to call it, sent the last hope of NA back home within 2 matches, is this one right here. Round number 18, where Paper X find round number 11 at the back of it, and the guard managed to put up nothing until the next one. They are stuck after the 1 pistol round, not able to keep up with the side of Paper X. And finally, when they do actually try to do something different, Paper X hit them back even harder. And you're going to see why. Now, the setup of the guard is still remaining the same, except for a slight change here. Trent is going to be coming in to support Jonah to peek in towards B main, because honestly, Mindfreak on his lonesome puts a one-way smoke here, and the B side is left empty on himself. And again, the one thing that has been working really well on the defense is Benkai's versatility. Now, while the mid control is going to be taken again, this time by Forsaken and Davai, you're going to see a bit of resistance come in from the side of the guard, which is honestly practically kind of, rendered useless. Now, finally, the side of the guard understand the importance of trading, and they've got both their players who are usually holding down this angle and this angle on one side of the market side or of mid, and they are going to be able to find the skill onto Forsaken, which is going to happen in just about a couple of seconds, while Jonah tries to fight Mind Freak towards B main. And while they do get B main control and Forsaken's going to be losing his life here, Davai does not care, puts up a wall and actually tries to go for the revive here. Immediately listens to the sound cue of the bullets, gets away, and look at how quickly Jing has rotated in the middle of all of this. They've left Benkai all alone on site. They say, we play retake on A. We do not care about, what they can do, because we know they're playing as passively as possible. The guard haven't made a shift of move except for this one little move towards B main with 2 contest them, which is not enough, because the way that PRX have been playing, you need a lot more firepower to fight against their firepower. And because that doesn't come through, this B main smoke actually holds the guard off from a push that's going to come in from Paper Rex. Now, look at how much faith these people have on their opponents to not push in. They leave mid completely unattended. There is nobody on mid. There's nobody B heaven. There's nobody vents. And they've left Benkai to take care of it all if it comes through. But guard being themselves across this entire map, which I quite honestly did not understand, will try to go in towards B main, and there comes a flash immediately. And why does that flash come in? As a response to the neural theft that is being put down by Net, because they know that immediately the guard are going to run towards A, because this neural theft gives them information that there's 3 players of Paper X here. And the minute these 3 players of Paper X know that's going to happen, look at the amount of aggression they show. The flash goes in, Jing finds Jonah, he tries to go in for more. While the blind comes in, the guard know that they cannot enter B whatsoever. They run. They don't even care about mid. Nobody's even lurking towards mid to maybe try and come in from vents. They go straight in, and because of the amount of information that Benkai has, the amount of utility he has, he practically gets a free kill thanks to his versatile setup of tripwires, and the rest is done by his teammates. Now, because Benkai gets that free kill, Saya player cannot even plant in the open, which he was going to initially. He could have planted here, anywhere, but because he knows that Benkai is around, he goes to the back of side, which means it's not a open plant for them to play off of any angle. They're gonna have to play a little passive, and look at where Trent is. Trent is still coming in. He's still far away, but Paper X do not care about anything. What they care about is getting the revive down on mid. Forsaken comes back to life, and it is a 5v3. And here's where things get a little bit awry for me. When they were in B main, they could have gotten Trent's ultimate. A Rolling Thunder is a very, very, very powerful ultimate, especially in rounds like these where you need a must-win, round. But Trent does not pick up the orb when he goes in with Jonah towards B main. He's not going to be able to pick up towards A main either, because we've already seen that the plant has gone down, so no ultimates are all available. And at the same time, when Saya player actually had his ultimate 1 orb away, and he gets the plant down, so his, the showstopper comes in, which, by the way, we all know, very powerful ultimate. In situations like these where you need to scare off your enemies, Saya player goes in for a 1v1 fight straight with Benkai, and Benkai doesn't even flinch. He doesn't flinch, he doesn't care. None of his teammates are even nearby to get a trade, because this guy has nerves of steel. He doesn't need anybody. He gets the kill on the Saya player. Now it's a 5v2 where both the players of the guard are on 2 polar opposite ends. Jing just goes into sight like it's his own territory. Forsaken takes care of a push towards spawn, and guard have fallen so hard that Trent knows in this 1v5, him even putting down a flash, an aftershock, or even his fault line is practically useless. Fires towards heaven, a pre-fire, which I did not quite understand. He could have put in a flash, maybe try to, do something in the sound, but he goes down through the smoke for his own mistake, and Paper X get what they want. A perfectly executed round, even though they lost a man. mind-blowingly amazing from Paper X. The APAC team just pressed, and continuously kept pressing onto their opponents and just completely belittled them to their pressure. The amount of passiveness that was being shown by the guard was a little too much in my opinion, and I think that they could have fought fire with fire. They've got a great lineup of players who can compete with as much utility, as much firepower as Paper X have, and I think that they kind of misread this game, and that's why the last hope of NA, or the second last hope of NA, has been sent back home by the boys of Paper X.